So
And
you believe that these comments were made as a personal attack. There was no serious conversation going on. They were just being sarcastic. They were just being like satire,
downplaying
in a
my
way.
viewer count, downplaying my channel that's been running for 7 years. That they don't understand how it works. I'm not just a YouTuber. I'm an artist, writer, producer, music producer. I literally edit my own videos, everything. So I always told them, look, you're alive. Everybody's gonna be seeing this. What I mean by everybody is that that stream is never gonna go down. That was a New Year's stream. That was a special thing that happened to me. And having an unnecessary entanglement with these people got it very, very worse. Numerically, it is impossible for me to fight against 3 to 4 people, especially in their max. No, Ethan, West Farm, and Kaizel have been exposed recently for lots of crazy shit recently. Lots of crazy stuff. There have been people that have been targeting this username XA3, the Project Dune. You know, if there's already a video out there that's already quite long on exposing Kaizel and West Farm's corrupt practices on YouTube. And there's quite a lot of videos exposing divine duality. What's interesting is that there's still people that go in groups that target me, specifically even to this day. And it's been a year. A little over a year, and there's still people who fixate on me, which is rather fascinating because I actually didn't ask for people to come in, and I especially know they have a Discord server, group chat, where they talk about each other, and they've recently kicked out lots of people for speaking their opinions against West Farm. You know that by not giving a response to that, you're avoiding responsibility. You're all avoiding responsibility from just merely ignoring all these questions to do with off-platform cyberbullying. Off-platform cyberbullying is something that can be pursuable legally. I have a bunch of screenshots and data from people who are spying on the Divine Duality server. I'm using my right microphone. You know I'm using my right microphone. It is straight up connected to my microphone. That's why I haven't attacked anybody here. I've literally not attacked anybody here. All I'm trying to do is spread a message. Because I know people here have connections, have friend groups who will go through voice chat right now on Discord. Who will always talk about things and then later send screenshots in the media channel and all the updates that they report on. I know all sorts of different people. They run away from the responsibilities. Rather unfortunate. This players are kind of hopeless. The game isn't pulling off because the server is just so niche. Let me record this. Let me record this. I see Kaiser's finally joined the server. Finally, where the hell is he? Because I've exposed this motherfucker. Where's Kaiser? I know that I'm recording this. I definitely know I'm recording all of this. So even if I get banned, I definitely have already alternatives to be able to avoid this. Let me see. Where the hell is Kaiser? I'm gonna confront you on the moral standpoint, Kaiser. Where the hell is Kaiser? Where the hell is Kaiser? Kaiser, can you show up? So you're Kaiser. Why is your moderation terrible? Why is your Discord server littered with accidents and mistakes? Why is your moderation team heavily biased and always avoiding multiple tickets from people's worries about abusive moderation practices? I've been in the server and I have spies in the server. I've been doing this for months. You need to be confronted about your broken practices that have no layers to them. It is straightforward. Your moderation team is terrible. It's not about somebody not liking me. I'm recording this. So you're going to only even in the corporate side of things, you're basically giving yourself bad press. I'm a victim of constant off-platform cyberbullying from your players, along with other people who have said that they've been getting bullied off-platform by multiple players across different months and years that your game has existed for. And also, your moderation practice is not the only thing that's wrong with it. No. It's not about arguing with everybody and being toxic to your members. The members never made any soluble takes on it with evidence. I've sent multiple drives to your moderators. No. I've sent multiple drives to your moderators with photos and recordings and timestamps. Your system is broken. Your system is broken. I've sent multiple Google Drives to your moderators who said that they were part of the Discord team and never took action after even months. No. Joining the server, though I'm already banned. No. Look. Your server's moderation practices and have been layered with all sorts of toxicness and lots of bias from your members who are in positions of power where they're responsible for people. Majorly, this is a fighting game. There will be people having beef, and that is normal. But there are times where beef turns into something where people start harming themselves because they feel they've been literally disparaged of from multiple players that bully them off platform, because it doesn't just stay within your Discord server and your game that you, by the way, are the head lead of, and you're responsible for all the off-platform bullying that's been literally caused and accelerated by your game on its own solely. There are multiple cases of people reporting repeatedly with screenshots and footage. You can, because you're absolutely responsible from it. Limited liability isn't going to make you literally safe from all of this that happens. This is inspired by the moderators in your game who have power. Okay. Moderators in your server have power. They have the power. They kick and they can ban members. Look, I've been on Roblox for a while, and I'm a creative visionary in Polymath. I have certifications. I have multiple tests. I know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm not specifically a Roblox developer. I know psychology. I'm informed. I'm an accelerating student, so I don't take this as if it was just a video game thing. It's actually led to definite people hurting themselves because they felt that that these people that bullied them into suicide. And that can't be taken as a joke. This has happened multiple times across months of inactivity. Your moderators can simply delete messages from players that oppose them. Remember that. You give them that ability. They can simply ban, kick, and wipe out their messages. And when those disappear, you can't tell if anything happened. They'll delete them before you even find out that something went on. Kaizo, you weren't even there. You're taking this from unsoluble statements taken from people over across months with no absolute evidence at all. They haven't sent anything strictly solid to be able to prove anything. Because if you realize this, I'm quite selfless for actually focusing on the safety of people. Other than myself. I just gave up on my case because your moderators didn't take it seriously. No, it isn't about me being banned. This is a larger thing in its own. Your moderation practices, and I repeat to you, are broken and have led to actual emotional pathological damage to multiple players across time, from how inactive and how unreasonable your players, specifically your moderators, are. They control the flow of the conversation. They control the flow, who speaks about who and who criticizes who. If you can't take criticism, you know absolutely right from a press standpoint, corporate standpoint, you will look terrible. You will literally look terrible from the reputation is based on those moderators solely. And you are the very front face of this very game itself. Saying that you're responsible is like lack of reliability. Your staff is the issue. You don't go through any background checks around your staff. There is a lack of reliability. They can hide everything that opposes them. They have the power to be able to delete that. They can delete oppose, like anything to do with opposing. Look, you have message deletion logs. Your mods did do that. Your mods did delete lots of things. You know you can purge messages. I'm not making stuff up. I have images and footage, and I have an entire video 1 hour long in a 7-hour stream showing the amount of people who continue to harass and group against me, not just me, but other people as well, other than just me. Your ideals are broken, and you're not able to take criticism, and you aren't able to take my opinion right now. I'm saying purely factual statements, not just my personal emotions. This is purely from data. This is purely from data, and I'm known to expose lots of bad actors in the Roblox community. All of you stop at felling attacking me. I've known to expose lots of different people, but I think you have a good heart. I think you can actually do action on this. You're just not willing to accept that you might have done multiple mistakes with how you're dealing with your management team. Your management team are filled with bias. They're filled with bias. If it's something that they don't like, they can just remove it. Not you. They can remove this before you find out. And my messages have been screenshotted, by the way. You have deletion logs. They deleted all of my... If you so-called have deletion logs, my logs have never appeared in front of your face. You've never seen them. Because I screenshotted all the ones that I made before I got banned from the server. Before they deleted them en masse. By the way, West Farm was in that. By the way, West Farm is the cause of that, and all the moderators that I know. Chat mods, that is your server. You are the sole owner of the server. You control the server. You have full absolute power on the server. The thing I'm doing here is reporting something that's been consistently, numerically, and factually proven over time with image and recordings. Image and recording. It's not something I made up. These are things that I've been getting from other people as well, for actual solid data and evidence. And if you're saying that you see all the message logs, you haven't seen any of mine, because you would have definitely seen all the people bullying me. I gave up completely on my own case because I knew that it was hopeless debating anybody there who can't take criticism. And why would you think you have to fire the staff? Don't you think it's a lot more layered than that? You need to find out that some of your own moderators are clearly not equipped to be able to do their job fairly with the least amount of bias. You know that you prepared the day that your game would be a fighting game. It would include all sorts of pathological conversations between your players responsibly. You fund it, and they fund it as well. I know how the Roblox economy works. Remember, don't forget I'm a student who came out with high grade. I'm a high grade student. I don't just play Roblox for a living. I know numbers, I know images, I know reports. Yeah, that's the thing. You have a limited reliability. You are convex. You aren't reliable. You are never going to take any criticism. Your players and your moderators won't take criticism. You are absolutely inspiring a toxic community to be formed. That isn't a world culture that you're forming. You've completely failed on the moderation standpoint. Your game is absolutely fun. It is absolutely fun. But your moderation, when it comes to moderation, when people need it the dear most, you can't just run off and say it's not your responsibility. That's straight up avoiding responsibility. If I have made a mistake, I would have corrected myself by now. You are responsible for this. You are the main lead. You are the main lead. You are actually responsible for this. You know legal consequences come with this. And with you coming over here confirming that you're not willing to actually take action, and you're just going to take it as a joke from just one guy getting banned. This isn't just me being banned. I've completely, absolutely given up on my own case. I gave up on my own case just to look into other people's cases because I know you're absolutely just going to not care. Because if the players see that you guys don't take me seriously, the players will obviously listen to only you because you're the owner. If you had stats and numbers, you would know that. You're making all sorts of excuses right now from actually taking action against the sort of broken moderation practices that I've repeatedly called out on different videos on my channel. Every single policy is completely rigged to be one-sided. There is no other second or third party who's willing to go against moderators and say, hey, the moderators, don't you think it's a little rough on them? Don't you think you're a little rough on some of the players? And I know you have the power to do whatever with me, but I'm here confidently knowing that what I'm reporting about it, I'm confidently reporting that I know what I'm talking about because I have data now. I didn't come here unprepared. Yeah, but I'm afraid West Farm isn't going to take responsibility. I've shown him data. I've shown images at Google Drive, multiple of them actually, from different images, from different players, and myself. And there's a video, there's already a 1 hour video there's like a video on my channel that already shows different footage from different days where players came in groups and harassed me and called me names. If you don't do that and keep making stuff up again, I will consider banning you. That's because you can't take criticism. Your ego's getting rubbed. You know I'm absolutely right, and only banning me will further worsen the image of this game's moderators and owner. You know, right now I have the courage to tell this to you, knowing that you can literally remove and silence me. That is straight up censure. You're threatening me with censure, a cease and desist. Yeah, you're giving me a chance, but what you see what you're doing here is that you're trying to make it one-sided. Where if you could literally just assume I'm wrong and get on with the day and erase history. But I'll always be lurking around, just in case something else goes on. Hello there, West Farm. I've seen it. Do you have anything to say to me directly, or do you simply want to cause harm to me in our community? I just confronted Kaiser on the server, so that is a new video on its own, but what I want is more reliable moderation practices, and notes to be taken that maybe at times people generally are cornered in that game these days. Is defamation your way of doing that? One of my statements on games like this is what is even constituted as cyberbullying. That popular or small games don't get any more. What does it take for something to be serious, and would the team even be aware of it anymore at all? Being that I made sure the case will be explained in a new video on the psychological aspects of this, and as it has happened before. It's happened before. Confidently their lack of responsibility. In talk I've gone from places I've met in groups, maybe worried about this spewing another narrative around. I'm simply from a minority, and what is absolutely true is how the team has a huge bias when it comes to constructive criticism. It is very easy to clean up mistakes, especially when it is off-platform, especially when I don't control it as well as all the others in the minority who care about the moderation. The game is adored, but the inspiration of hate is getting way too common to ignore. And then I make a poke at limited liability. More convexity. This builds up though. There has been more these past months, so the experience won't exactly be the same this time. He then says, you're attempting to hold my and Kaiser's reputation hostage through lies, assumptions, and defamation. Which it's not true. He even watched my video. He knows that's not true. You placed yourself on a pedestal, convinced there's more focus on you than actually exists. You constantly asserted that I somehow elicited a reaction towards you or moderated you harshly, and I've continued to assert this claim for nearly 8 months. Absolutely true. Your behavior has gone beyond personal grievance, and I say absolutely true to how he's actually parted. Literally, he moderated me harshly, proven in that video I made long ago about West Farm is a liar. He is, and he's now seething and crying about it. Then he says, your behavior's gone beyond personal grievance. No, not personal grievance. I have a lot of other cases on my palette right now. I have lots of different cases I need to digest other than Divine Duality. Divine Duality was just a really easy one because unfortunately lots of you people love to say whatever you want, especially even if it means harm, even if it means that you bully without a care. people absolutely love. Your people absolutely love bullying people on the server, especially new guys. And new guys have to be something that they enjoy, something that won't ever say no to them. Your first server goes through lots of different things, and it goes through loads and updates, but unfortunately, that will only be a minority of what your game will be known for after this video. I'm going to make sure the West Farm video I made long ago about you being a liar will then branch over to this video so that people can get a taste of what the owner and my fellow West Farm is actually like. Especially when it's the people who have completely beaten them at their own game. Even though I never invented divine duality. It says, you've repeatedly harassed our members, harmed our community, and carried out what amounts to be a slender campaign against both me and divine duality as a whole. No, it's not slander. It is more like, again, remind you, reported journalism. Reported journalism that I've used with facts, photos, image, recorded by me, because nobody decided to side up with me. Another reminder that your server isn't for people like me. You don't want people who are smart. You want people who are idiots. You want idiots. You thrive on idiots. You don't thrive on people who can correct you and make you sit in your own place. Now you've met your match. You're a fraud. Right. Then, the accusations you made that I'm a parasite and that I encourage toxicity or that I facilitate self-harm and mental illness are not only false but could be potentially damaging. Nope. Absolutely untrue. No, it wouldn't be damaging. I think there's a better way. What you're doing is obscene. I forgot to use that word with you in that video a long time ago. What you're doing is obscene. I feel like parasite was something I was using so that you can feel a sort of animalistic trait coming from my speech, rather than something psychological. Now, what you've done is larger than in number. By the way, my case is just one of them. You only want cases where you look favorable, and that is exactly representing itself with this response you gave me, right? Let's continue. It not only is false and potentially damaging, which is obviously debunked. What West Arm is doing is obscene and has lack of morality. Then he says, you're confronting me publicly with claims that can be easily exposed as misinformation. Fortunately untrue. Obviously, West Farm is known to be a liar, right? Then it says, you've already pushed this issue past the reasonable point with establishing mutual communication with primary, secondary, or tertiary sources, and have thus subjected yourself to exposure to numerous misunderstandings, assumptions, or blatant lies, right? I'm going to explain this, right? I'm going to read this for people who don't understand English like West Farm does. It says, you've already pushed this issue past a reasonable point without establishing mutual communication with primary, secondary, or tertiary sources. You guys never wanted to talk to me. Do you remember me being banned from the game and also being banned for your server? You also, whenever somebody even tries bringing me up, nobody's brought me up since then. You will probably take lane. You will, and no, actually, you will absolutely, I'll say you will absolutely take out anybody that brings up my name in a good light. You would have just kicked out the person or timed them out, or have given them a warning for even mentioning my name. Let me remind you, you are the one who manages the team, as Kylo said, and it says right here, and have thus subjected yourself to exposure to numerous misunderstandings, assumptions, or blatant lies. Here, let me debunk them for you, in case people who watch it. And again, if you watch and you enjoy videos like these, subscribe to my channel, leave a like, put my video anywhere else. As always, it says right here, I've watched your entire video. Throughout it, you misunderstood actions were taken as an official capacity due to lack of experience or knowledge. Unfortunately, no. I have a severely high amount of knowledge that can be proven, and be proven to be rich in quality on its own from 1 hour of video that I've made and posted publicly on my channel that I've hosted with lots of clips and different streams of mine, which significantly disprove what you're talking about. Unfortunately, that's how it is, because Mustfarm is a liar and Kaizul is a coward, right? But I never remotely said they were evil. I simply called them babies, right? Editor me, it's a gap. Anyways, postured with vague self-proclaimed titles and skills. This is essential right here. Lied about industry terms you clearly don't have background or experience to define. Unfortunately for you, West Farm, I do. Though it seems really, really scary, really unbelievable. You know, you're a guy who's not into looking really stupid in front of people, and you know now this is becoming a video on its own. Yes, the self-proclaimed titles that I've literally described myself with are, yeah, they can be proven that I've done it before. I do actually have that background, though it seems like there's no way Visiwet has that background. Fortunately, recently I've been working on this huge document that explains what I've done. Like a long part of it will explain what I exactly do, what role I fit in, and then a very short version of it that shows what exactly I am. Yes, I absolutely can prove my self-proclaimed titles. And no, it's not self-proclaimed. I can immediately prove even by saying proclaim, because that means that I'm not really meaning that means that that's not true, right? On a standpoint, I absolutely have necessary power and skill and cultivated skill to prove the titles that I have, that I've given myself. Definitely and absolutely. Then it says lied about industry terms you clearly don't have the background experience to define. This obviously is vague, and I don't know exactly what industry terms he doesn't think I have a background or experience to define. If I'm right, everything I've talked about in the video, West Farm's a liar, he is, literally are things that I know about, that I've been in the industry for at least 9 to 13 years for. Unfortunately for you, I'm not stupid. Then it says, this is a reckless misrepresentation that harms real people. Absolutely. You need to face consequences. Stop being a bitch. Now, it says, you are not simply asking for things to change, nor are you making an attempt to properly appeal a ban. Yeah, I haven't been able to because you guys never treated me fairly. Now, because I'm simply one guy who's actively reporting this against you by publicly denouncing you on my channel that I always will use as a form of reporting, as like a platform for reporting the truth. By the way, what you're doing isn't better, and I haven't seen you make a video exposing me along with Kaizel. I'd rather you guys, literally, I want you guys to start something in your server and make me look ridiculous. While you do it, you begin to notice how foolish you are. Then, he says, you've planted spies in the server according to you and likely evaded punishment with holding accounts in order to gather the evidence that you're using to back up your claims. Let me remind what I'm about to bring this up real soon, what that is, because clearly he doesn't like this, right? Here's number one logic. Here's number one logic. This is logic 101. If somebody clearly is doing an illegal act and is immoral and illegal and it is inciting violence, very obscene behavior, obviously ridiculous behavior that leads to people harming themselves, thinking they feel that they have no voice, right? And you're doing this without any effort. You are inciting and eliciting a toxic, remember, toxic, unorganized, hateful community. When I gather evidence against you, I need evidence to make a soluble report that can fix and that can prove what I'm talking about. So if you're having problems with people gathering evidence, something must be wrong with you. That doesn't work the same in any sort of legal constitute that you can find online about what free speech actually protects, because free speech protects something until it is deemed illegal. And what I've done is I haven't even extorted and manipulated, asked for money or power. I haven't even asked for your bans. I didn't ask for somebody to be removed. I asked for action that you guys still have control on, that you guys are obviously the front and face of your brand, that you deal, that you're responsible for, that harbors players with competitive spirits, and at some point those players will do something that breaks rules in TOS that I literally by memory recognize in my head. That is my job. So you're obviously stupid. Then he says, this is alone enough to ignore you, because you can't take responsibility. And I've still been gracious enough to give you an opportunity to communicate as long as you consider us at least equals. You don't consider me equal. Then he says, you're handling this incorrectly. You're implicating people that you don't know nor have you interacted with because you guys don't even give me a voice. Because of this campaign that you've fueled with your righteous indignation, where is this coming from? You called me a slur in your video, attempted to defame me and Kyle's, and have lied about the things that I've done or not done without properly making an attempt to understand his or my actions. You guys deleting my messages, hiding them around other messages, deleting the messaging logs. Kyle's has no clue what the fuck I even said from the server before they deleted them en masse. By the way, West Farm was in that. By the way, West Farm is the cause of that in all the moderators that I know. You wiped all my messages from the server, you've blocked me, and also disblocked me around, let me see, on the DM level and video game level and YouTube level. That's like around 3 levels of how am I supposed to contact anybody. And every time my name is brung up in your server, you literally just kick people out and say bye-bye and don't let them even talk about it. You don't let them even speak their voice. So there's something to do with that you don't understand yet. And you're older than me, and you have a wife, which is concerning that you're still like here in this place. Then I responded with, what made this response from you predictable is once somebody gets backed into a corner like this, much is to be said about someone's awareness, only they were bad for real into somewhere that made their eyes open. So now I'll give me my new and updated take on this, and I'm confident in what is in store from here. I said, to first get it out of the way, it is believed that NDA and freedom of speech is expressed and only considered legal until it is used for illegal acts. Evidence gathering was to make the claims more solid, and avoiding this would have first gathered suspicion on my part for not being forward enough. This representation is first admitted by your own members who aren't moderators. That first source misrepresented my name by using fake titles and names and joked about it consistently for months, not meaning it had to be in the server for it to be proven. And yes, though unbelievable, I had been in the creative industry in my entire life. I have lots of certifications and products to prove it, but this is off topic, so I'll avoid it, though it explains my fundamental stance on this dilemma. Yes, I'm believed to be experienced enough to speak for a public, mentioning the current standards for content in news media today, as I've been improving since that won't be immature the next time. So if it ever happens again, don't expect me to be terrible or amateur, right? Then he says, I will say this only once. You're antagonizing me, my brand and reputation, as well as the reputation of a lot of people that I know. Because you guys don't do any action. I mean, look at how Kaizel just did in previous footage. Kaizel even literally exactly proves what I'm talking about. Kaizel never knew about this. You lost right when Kaizel admitted to not, like he wasn't even able to name anything I said. Right? Have a limited reliability. You are convex. You aren't reliable. You are never going to take any criticism. Your players and your moderators won't take credit. And I'm still able to name what you guys said by memory. It's stuck in my memory. Beautiful stuff, right? I know. You're painting me as something that I'm not, and you're flexing knowledge that you have hurriedly pieced together without the proper experience or foundations to utilize properly. I wonder what West Farm means by that when I have significantly I've significantly made lots of improvements over my life across these 13 years. And I by now have enough skills and know what I'm talking about, right? You're not running out of this one. Again, what they're doing here is using pathos and trying to avoid responsibility. West Farm is doing that, right? Then he says, not me. You are not free from accountability or consequences. Ironic. He's using that line. Then he says, you aren't making an attempt to communicate, and you're subjecting yourself to multiple egregious logical fallacies that discredit nearly your entire argument. Unfortunately, that's wrong, right? Look what I just discussed in this part of the video. You're not free from accountability or consequences. That could be something right here I would have typed. You aren't making an attempt to communicate. I would have typed that as well if I had to. He's using he's trying to turn it around, right? Then he says, and you are subjecting yourself to multiple egregious logical fallacies that discredit nearly your entire argument. Is kind of ironic. That's ironic because everything he's been subjecting himself, along with the multiple egregious fallacies in his arguments, are fully discredited on what Kaizel did and what West Farm did. discredit every argument they made. You're attempting to predict me. Yeah, I can. And flexing your knowledge instead of acting in the interest of the people you're claiming to protect. I am acting in the interest of the people I'm claiming to protect. Yes, I can absolutely prove that. I absolutely care about moderation practices. Is that hard to believe? Crazy, I know. I know. World where people see facts as a form of harassment, I need to make sure you open your eyes. You're an adult man. You run away as fast as a teenager running away from detention. Now, it says right here. Westfarm says, I do not want to fight you on this. I want you to realize what you're doing wrong so that you can approach it correctly and so we can discuss the changes that you want made. I want to realize what parts of you're saying are helpful or not. Right now, you're approaching me with insults, defamation, and lies. What insults? What insults? Didn't I, am I supposed to, I'm providing methodically proven information that can be proven. What insults? Have I called him the F word in this discussion? Have I besides me calling him the B word in this recording, what else have I used to insult him with besides all of the slurs, death threats, and all sorts of disgusting behavior people sent to me over in Divine Duality and now platform in my Discord? I don't know about that. I don't know if that like, let me see. So if they are teamed up. Look, they are teamed up. The ECCs. This is the fact is that it doesn't matter if they're teaming against me. I think all that matters is that I make an enduring and lasting impact. So though I'll die repeatedly, I think what matters most is how I take out one of them from the group. I know easily that it's a bad idea staying away. I know it's a bad idea to distance myself from this guy. So what I have to do is, instead of running, because he knows he can reverse time on me, I know he can reverse time on me, instead of running away, I have to directly charge in, because he'll just reverse. To fight against a time user and a person who uses like physical abilities, I have to stay in place. So it's like it's like I'm directly being a figurehead in the middle of multi-attacks. I have to later predict when they'll attack. Like, I have to literally predict their frames at this point. So instead of running, they'll have to rely on, I have to stay in place. I have no choice but to stay in place. I can't run. They'll just use targeted attacks. So it's useless running away at this point. So right now, what I have to do is stay in place. I have to stay in place because the reverse ability that they have, along with the physical abilities, is good enough to literally, what's called again, counter-attack me perfectly. Which I can't blame them for because it is an effective fighting method. Only me. Nobody's going to be able to get the kill from me. But nobody's going to get the kill from me. If it's everybody stealing me as a form of kill, nobody's going to... Nope. Let's see, if I attack only Ethan, he's gonna definitely die. Because it's just me against him. Look, he died! Only because look, instead of focusing, see, look. Both are attacking. Both are attacking. Right when I only fight Ethan, Ethan actually loses. No, you guys won't fight me fairly at all. You guys won't fight me fairly. You're all not fighting me fairly. No, I'm resetting. You're all fighting me fairly. If it happens to you, you'll cry about it because you have a position of power. Gotcha. Right. Defamation. Why are you using defamation? Do you know what that means? Search it up. And lies. And a generally hostile demeanor. Because, alright, to explain this, the Projectian is very notoriously known for confronting people no matter how large or how rich they are, right? I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate based on if you're famous or you have a lot of money or you have friends or if you're a different skin color or language. I treat everybody who makes mistakes that clearly show broad, consistent reforming people that lead to negativity. I have enough to work with for me to be able to confront you, right? Now it says, I can't be expected to negotiate with you when you're essentially asking as a reputational T word. And again, he's throwing the T word. I can't see it on YouTube because then YouTube would say, well, I'm banning you. And then he says, I'm not certain yet, but what you're doing may as well qualify as extortion legally, and at this point I may be inspired to take action legally. Unfortunately for you, West Farm, I've never asked for money, none of your information, never asked for moderation positions, I've never asked for your YouTube channel or anything that you own. I asked for action to be taken to make sure people have a more easier, a fair, more transparent, and more organized experience dealing with the moderation in your server that don't end up in cases where I'm at right now, where they have to take action themselves, right? And you're failing that. You're failing that. Moment of silence for the man who can't open his eyes. He's not even dead. He just can't open his eyes. Think about that metaphorically. Alright, now let's go back to this image. Then repeat to this in case Westfront needs this again. I believe you do harbor and without awareness inspired behavior not found on any social media front legally, even if this were Kick. Kick even knows what extortion is. You can't throw that out. I also will continue to actively report not just this game but other games, as it isn't my first time, but along the way I've grown quite a lot. And thanks to Kyle's confirming things, you won't be getting out of the clutches of the wokeness movement soon, unfortunately. And corporate wise, I bring a corporate, this will be a build up that I will have made seriously into your consideration, and knowing this will be long term. This is what happens when people think I am not serious. You've now known that. Now I know you're done for, right? Then it says, then I say, limited liability exists for those who run. He is a business owner. This counts as a business. Your game is a business. Kyle's a new started this game to earn revenue. I haven't asked for revenue. I haven't asked for moderation positions. I said, take action, grow up, open your eyes. You're wrong. Then again, he even throws extortion, which is crazy. And then he throws the T word, by the way. And yes, I've confirmed with other people than myself their cases as well, which never met the right of day due to the fear of inadequate practices of moderation across several months, along with other games doing the same, which speaks to a broader image itself about the Roblox social life. And I will continue to prove that not only it is being me, but this will be forever considered in the motion in a stringent place elsewhere metaphorically. Journalism isn't illegal, but it sure is saddening itself to figure out the hard way like I did. Then he says, I think you're serious, but I think you're misled. And I think you believe that I've done something wrong that I haven't actually done. And with that comment, I'm telling you that you are handling it incorrectly, right? He breaks character. He starts sending only sentences rather than paragraphs. And then, here we go. Watch. I'm gonna break him down. I'm breaking him down. This is for him to give up on his dreams. This is so he can take actions on his dreams. His dreams can't come out with people coming out of the game mentally stressed, right? You need to notice that by now, Westfarm, right? You're responsible. It's like saying, look, anybody will understand this. Let me make it into something that you can fully understand. If you're at school and your principal says the same strat you were doing, and you're a school student, and your principal and your teacher saying the same strat, saying, we are not responsible, you're a reputational T word, and that you're extorting us for reporting somebody bullying you. And because we think you're wrong, and because we have moderation powers, we assume that you're asking us for money in positions of power in the school because somebody bullied you, and we don't believe it because we said so. That's what it sounds like. In this system, if a teacher and principal does that, that is illegal. You're welcome. They can't do that. That's denial of protection. You have securities. If you're, and by the way, for off topic, if somebody is living through that school, you have the permission to go ask somebody from federal to take that into action in case your teacher and principal doesn't care about you. They don't care about you. You can act upon it. There's places you can search online in case you're a student and you're suffering from denial of security and denial of rights at school. If you're being denied that, you can go places, have somebody take it there, and then they will take action. Anyways, back on topic. It says, I haven't asked you to give me money or anything but transparency, responsibility, clarity, and respect. So no playing jumbo with somebody who's recently studied laws, and this won't be just for me. Oh, I hope any other player gets treated as real people more these days. I'm not liable for my own victimhood. And something companies do a lot is make themselves escape liability, each and whenever they can. But my brand image, if you want to talk corporate, is made up of hard work. At times, it is bigger than I am, and it will outlive me as a whole. Then I say, so this won't be a quick angst, it'll be a development over time. I don't see evil, but I see a naive person anywhere in this world, being that I was naive before. And being quiet is some of the worst decisions I've made as a human who's learned it the hard way. By the way, if you are quiet in this world, you're always going to be mistreated and nobody will care for you, right? You need to act in order for things to work, right? For something to happen, you need to act. And then I say, so I'll stand up proudly about my statement, but I won't be here to make those decisions in a place I don't control. By the way, it is West Farm and Kaisel's server game. I never asked them for positions of power. I asked for proper action to be taken. See what I'm going with? I merely spread the message around. Yes, I did read your message. Don't worry. And this is the best part. And next time, before you say I always had choices, make sure to actually perform them as you promised before making vague promises that surmount to no action being taken from only me but for the others along the way in the future once the games pull off again. Not just for you but for the rest in the future. Now you know I'm dead serious. You're welcome. Let me remind you next time as well. And then, badums. I say badums. Then, watch. This is ironic. He ends with something that fits into where I'm actually at, right? Not what he's doing. There's like a specific concept he brings up that I felt like was the thing I needed to be able to decide West Farm right here, right? He says, West Farm says, not me. It says, I was never talking about your brand, nor do I necessarily care about you in particular. How kind of you. How kind of you. Thank you. And then he says, you are not part of our community and you're not part of our server. You've been banned and soon you'll be part of their game community. You are being banned. How kind of you. This isn't helping you. Uh-oh. Right? I know. He's making a lot of uh-ohs. Right? And then he says, you have harassed our community for months. I've played the game for months. Your players have been harassing me for months. Where were you? Where were you? Gone. Gone. Then he says, right? He says, you have spread this information about me, Kaisel, and multiple staff members that you vaguely mentioned but haven't named. Where were they? Where were they? They've been trying to act like it nothing never happened, but my stream is still up there. I'm not here. I'm not trying to go. Oh, I'm gonna pierce at them until they regret it. No. I'm not asking for that. I'm just going like, I just want it to just resolve where it's like nobody's angry at each other. Just resolve. Get over with it. Though that will forever be on my channel.
Policy explainer. There are certain protected characteristics, things that you mentioned: race, age, gender. That's also a protected characteristic. Now, if these characteristics are called out for any intent or purpose, and those that let's say that intent or purpose was to offend you, as you claimed it was,
Which happened
then
repeatedly.
that is a breach of Discord terms of service. And now, if that happens off of the platform in a verifiable manner, such as
Both
the live
platforms.
stream, then we can punish for that. But if that doesn't happen in a verifiable manner, such as if the live stream has been tampered with, which looking at it, it has not been.
Yeah, I don't delete
Then
my
that means
streams.
that player
Those
can
are
be
parts
punished
of my
as long
life.
as, since we are verified through Block's link. I'm just explaining this to you because I've reached some finality.
Yeah.
To DM me after reporting this issue to the Discord Trust and Safety team and to the Roblox moderation team.
Yep.
Once you get responses to your reports, I will consider appealing the punishment that is about to be enforced onto you.
Exactly. Then he says, you've backtracked and reframed situations that you were personally a part of in the past, which I can reasonably provide proof for. Right, where's the proof? You had 8 months. Oh wait, you don't have the proof. Show me the proof. Wait, your wife. You have to care about your wife first. Westfront, you have to care about your wife first. You can't be caring about me. You said that you don't care. Why are you caring? Where's the evidence? Where's all the things saying that I've been extorting anybody? Where were your moderators when I needed it? Where were your staff when I needed it? Why are the players continuously harassing me? Where were you? Gone. And Kaizel? Clueless. Right, let's continue. Then, you've insulted divine duality, he says, in its community while paradoxically praising it within the same video. Yeah, I absolutely love the game mechanics. Not the community. Not the hair ups either. Right? Then he says, though, with all this being said, you're still acting smug, sending gifts, assuming my behavior and mindset, insulting my character. I like that. Is it being defensive? He's proving my point more. And then telling me how to manage the community when you have little to no community health experience. Unfortunately for you, West Farm, I've been around on YouTube for quite a long time. Alright. I made. Alright. Count with me. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. That's over 200 songs. Don't worry. I got every song named. I'm just about to scroll all the way down. Don't worry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They took me hundreds of hours, thousands. I know, it's nothing to you guys. I've not been in the community for too long. It's not like I have a studies and showcase playlist over there in my channel that you can also visit that shows the amount of Shred that I've been watching and Shred that I've been watching for my entire life. Wait, there's no way I've been doing it my entire life. Wait, I got photos of me from the past that show you that I was around for all of this time. You didn't even do research on this, so you clearly don't know what you're talking about. Right? You don't know who I am because you weren't there. It says in your first line, nor do I necessarily care about you in particular. That's why you think I have little to no community health experience. Let me show you something real cool. Don't mind the mic at the bottom right. You want to know who I am? Pause the screen. Read this. You're welcome. Here's another. Read this. You're welcome. Here's this. Usually how it goes. There's this. You want to know what my Discord rules are? Yeah, my server has rules. We have all of these just for you. For how it works. pause the screen, give your device enough time to give it, like, so you can read it. You probably will say, I can't read all that. Well, you have to legally. Now here we go. Wrist farm, I hope this is enough. There we go. These rules will update. And I got new members soon. All my members are on my streams. Mostly on my streams. On my Discord server. The Hatsune Miku bound right on my screen is another rabbit hole itself. I hope you enjoyed that quick breakdown. How unfortunate. You didn't study and now you're fucked. Right. Then he says, we're not on negotiation terms. What money? Where? Where? I'm banned. Both ways. Where? My spies haven't even asked for money. Where? Then he says, all you're doing is causing harm to me, the staff of Divine Duality. Where? And the community with your amateurish attempt at vigilantism. Where? Let me remind you, Roblox has been fixated on vigilantism. You know what this means? You know, the only time people like business owners when business owners of these sorts of things start using vigilantism as describing people who take action into their own hands legally without getting you guys the violence, by the way. Haven't sent any death threats, no physical terror, no images of graphic content. All I've been doing is gathering evidence and displaying my case. What a bummer. He went all the way down to assuming I'm a reputational T word. He said I'm extorting. He says I'm attempting amateur vigilantism. He clearly doesn't remember what he learned in school. Then he says you're organizing harassment against me and an entire group of people. If you pay attention to the video, the harassment doesn't exist. It shows in the 1 hour video, if you paid attention, that there were around, 7 to 8 to 9 groups of people harassing me in the footage. With audio recording activated, right? Audio recording activated. They called everything insane. Then they finally point out to Risu. Attached, you've also agreed with somebody that implied that I should commit self-harm because of my actions. And then official Teresa says, one of the best videos I've watched, and also West Farm, if he sees this, West Farm can go off themselves in Minecraft. Bro bullied you and now he is getting exposed. That's what official Teresa said. I said, thank you for that. West Farm is just one of the worst, some of them more dumber. Yeah, you are dumber. Should you self-harm yourself? No. So, Teresa said this. And you're going, well, I agree to it. Yeah, I agree to it. That in Minecraft, you should do something about what you are doing and think about it much more. You bullied and you abused your power and now you're done for. And then finally, he says, I'm ending communication here. I feel entirely unheard. I feel you've acted hostile towards me and I feel that you've been subjecting me to multiple acts of aggression through vague claims and blatant lies. Being that he's the very one doing that exactly with me right now. He's even making legal threats. I want this to be stuck in your head, West Farm. West Farm, I want this to be stuck in your head. I feel entirely unheard. Does this ring any bell?
And it's that simple.
Yep. Which I already know very well because it's not my first time. Anyways, any other questions?
No, I'm also gonna pass this to sarcasm. I think I'm satisfied.
Yeah, Visit Perez Nicholas or the Project Dion. It's a name.
This is Perez Nicholas. Yeah, I did go ahead and take a look at your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. You might find me on Facebook, whatever, you know. Okay, so you said you want me to add you. Alright. And it's already sending the request anyways. Yeah, I got you, I got you.
Okay.
How I'm still standing here is a very solid. I show everything. Like right now, the DMs are showing as well.
Lucky Peter also says hi YouTube.
Yeah.
Also, Sarcasm says hi YouTube. Also, Aqua says hi YouTube.
Yeah. Alright. So that's gonna happen. Alright. So what will he continue with? I'm not gonna do anything. No, I think I know exactly what's specifically happening. It is cold for me, by the way. Welcome to our first Notice Rolex video. Around 6:24 a.m. as of currently of my time. That's what I'm gonna do with. Professional game developer U5 Unity Rolex Studio. Yeah, he has a background. I also have one as well. I couldn't fake anything about what I said earlier, so we're gonna take it to let's say. You see, the very purpose of what I'm doing this year is to spread awareness. Does it ring any bell, West Farm? I feel entirely unheard. You never heard me out. Nice try there, kiddo. I think you tried your best. I think it was better for you to not have. I mean, if you want to stay away for a while, please do so. But you've lost. When this video comes out, I think you are done for. But you can still change. You can still change. But you are done for. Notice how I'm not threatening violence. I'm not threatening doxing. I'm not sending images or coming towards members and calling them. Not using slurs. Notice it? You can go to the West Farm as a liar video. Anyways, if you disliked videos like these, please make sure to leave a like on the video so you can go anywhere else. You don't know how many times I've said that? I should have said welcome to Top First and Most Vlogs video too, by the way. So anyways, I'm gonna leave this part in the first part of the video, and then I'm gonna redo the intro of mine, and then I'll end this video here. Alright. I've done the intro now. Edited me, thank you. Right. We need strong leaders out there, informed ones. In a world where facts are considered a form of harassment, we need people who are able to lead, and we need people who are with moral clarity. Well, that's relevant to what you think is moral clarity, but still, on a broad standpoint, it's global. We're in a GCW, in a global censorship war. We need people who are informed and who are able to change people who are wanting to be changed and who are wanting to be informed. And ignore people who don't want to do anything about it. Leave them alone. That's just how it is. We will have to take actions in our hands. And as always, that'll be it. It's the Project Dan. I've been this for 8 years, and I will be out.